The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Administrator Ta presented the findings. On the main display, a small blue planet rotated slowly. The blue and green world looked peaceful from a distance, but Ta knew appearances could be deceiving. "We've detected signals from this system," he explained, pointing to the holographic display. "The species calls themselves humans. Their technology is primitive, but advancing at an unprecedented rate." The chamber remained quiet. 57 species represented in the council, and not one made a sound. This was unusual. New species were discovered regularly, but something about these humans had captured everyone's attention. Councillor June leaned forward, her silver eyes reflecting the blue glow of the Earth display. "Are they a threat?" It was the question on everyone's mind. The council had encountered aggressive species before, with terrible consequences. "Unknown," replied Ta, his fingers swiping through data files that appeared in the air. "I recommend a diplomatic mission to assess them." The vote was quick and unanimous. First contact would proceed. 3 cycles later, Ambassador Dai stood on the observation deck of the diplomatic vessel *Harmony*, as Earth grew larger in the view screen. Her mission was simple: evaluate humanity for potential council membership. But Day felt the weight of responsibility. A wrong assessment could lead to disaster. "Beautiful, isn't it?" asked Captain Jai, joining her at the viewport. Day nodded. "Many worlds are. Beauty often hides danger." "Our scans show they've only achieved limited space travel," Captain Jai said. "Their most advanced crafts barely reach their own moon. And yet they've progressed from primitive tools to spaceflight in less than 10,000 years, Day replied. "The Council finds this concerning." Captain G frowned. "Do you think they could be guided by another species? An uplift scenario?" "We've found no evidence of outside interference," Daz said. "This appears to be natural development. Extremely accelerated natural development." The *Harmony* continued its approach, now passing the gas giant humans called Jupiter. The ship's cloaking technology kept it hidden from Earth's primitive detection systems, or so they believed. What the Council didn't know was that humans had already detected their approach, in an underground facility beneath the Pacific Ocean. General Kim studied the alien vessel's trajectory on a massive screen. Around him, military leaders from every major nation stood in tense silence. The object had first been detected by a secret deep space monitoring station. It had appeared suddenly at the edge of the solar system, moving in ways that defied Earth's understanding of physics. It was clearly under intelligent control, and it was heading directly for Earth. "They're coming," General Kim said to the assembled world leaders, "and we need to be ready." President Lee stepped forward. "Ready how, General? If they have the technology to cross between stars, what possible defense could we mount?" "We may be outmatched technologically," General Kim admitted, "but we have advantages they don't expect." He touched a control panel, and the display changed to show a network of facilities around the world. "For the past 15 years, since we first detected unusual signals from the Andromeda Galaxy, we've been preparing. Project SHIELD has developed technologies based on our best understanding of potential alien capabilities." Defense Minister Park shook her head. "You're talking about untested weapons against an enemy we know nothing about." "Not just weapons," Kim corrected. "Communication systems, shields, and yes, defenses if needed. We've been careful to keep these facilities off all official records, using minimal electronic signatures. If they're watching our broadcasts and internet, they won't know about Project SHIELD." The room erupted in arguments. Some leaders demanded immediate military preparation. Others insisted on peaceful contact only. A few suggested surrender as the only logical option. President Lee raised her hand for silence. "We need to approach this carefully. If they wanted to destroy us, they could have done so from a distance. The fact that they're approaching slowly suggests they want contact. Or they're studying us before they strike," General Kim countered. In the back of the room, Dr. Ho, head of the Xenolinguistics Division, spoke up. We should consider what message we send with our first response. Aggressive defense might trigger the very conflict we hope to avoid. President Lee nodded. We'll prepare for all possibilities. General Kim, keep your defenses ready but hidden. Dr. Ho, prepare your first contact protocols. Everyone else, return to your countries and prepare your people carefully. No mass panic. As the world leaders filed out, President Lee asked General Kim to stay behind. What aren't you telling everyone? She asked once they were alone. Kim hesitated, then pressed a sequence on his wristband. A hidden panel in the wall slid open, revealing a small metallic object. 3 years ago, something crashed in the Gobi Desert. This was inside. President Lee approached the object cautiously. Alien technology. We believe so. We've been studying it. It's some kind of data storage device. Have you accessed it? Kim nodded. Partially. It contains star maps and what appears to be a registry of species, including references to a galactic council. President Lee's eyes widened. So this isn't first contact. They've been here before. It seems so. And there's something else. Kim pulled up new data on the screen. The device contains warnings about several species deemed dangerous by this council. Species that were apparently contained. Contained how? We don't know. But we believe the approaching ship is from this council, and we have to assume they're coming to assess us. President Lee stared at the blinking light on the screen that represented the approaching vessel. And if they find us wanting, then humanity might be the next species to be contained. Above Earth, the Harmony began its final approach sequence. Ambassador Dai prepared for first contact, unaware that humanity was already preparing for them. Begin atmospheric entry, Captain Jai ordered. Keep sensors at maximum. Let's see what these humans are really like. As the ship descended through Earth's atmosphere, cloaked from human eyes, Dai felt an unusual sensation. In her many diplomatic missions to new worlds, she had never felt this particular emotion before. It was unease. Something about these humans was different. She could feel it. What she couldn't know was that on the surface below, General Kim was tracking their descent with technology that shouldn't have been able to detect them. They're here, he said into a secure communication device. Operation First Welcome is now active. The chess game between species had begun. Ambassador Dai's meeting with Earth's United Nations began cordially enough. The Grand Assembly Hall had been prepared with care for this historic occasion. Flags of all nations lined the walls, and the air hummed with nervous energy as world leaders waited for their first official contact with alien life. President Han stood at the podium, her posture perfect, her face a careful mask of diplomatic calm. When the doors opened and Ambassador Dai entered with her delegation, a collective gasp filled the room. Though the council had chosen representatives who somewhat resembled humans in basic form, the differences were striking. Dai's silvery skin caught the light strangely, and her movements were too fluid, too perfect. On behalf of humanity, I welcome you to Earth, President Han said, bowing slightly. Ambassador Dai mimicked the gesture. The Galactic Council extends greetings to your species. We come in peace and with hope for mutual understanding. The translator devices the Council delegation wore transformed their speech into flawless human language. This impressed the assembled leaders, who applauded politely. For the first day, exchanges remained pleasant. The Council representatives shared basic information about galactic society. Humans responded with carefully prepared presentations about Earth culture. Both sides avoided difficult topics. The trouble started during the cultural exchange on the second day. The Council delegation had requested access to human historical records to better understand their potential new members. President Han had agreed, believing transparency would demonstrate humanity's good faith. When Dai's translator processed these records, alarm spread through the delegation. The alien's body language shifted noticeably, with subtle movements that reminded observers of startled animals preparing to flee. Ambassador Dai stood before the UN Assembly, her expression now rigid. Your species has engaged in constant warfare, she stated flatly. The Council finds this deeply concerning. The chamber erupted in murmurs. Defense Minister Kang leaned toward President Han. They're judging our entire history without context, he whispered urgently. President Han raised her hand for quiet. Ambassador, humanity has indeed known conflict, but we have also known peace. Our struggles have taught us valuable lessons. Day tilted her head. We have reviewed your world wars. 2 global conflicts within 30 of your years. Nuclear weapons deployed against civilian populations. Genocide. Religious persecution. These are not indicators of a stable species. The tension in the room thickened. General Kim, seated in the back row, touched the concealed communicator at his wrist. Throughout the building, security teams went on silent alert. With respect, Ambassador, President Han said carefully, you are seeing only part of our story. Humans have created art, music, literature. We have cured diseases, explored our world peacefully, built communities that care for one another. Ambassador Dai consulted with her team before responding. Your entertainment glorifies violence. Your children play games simulating warfare. Your nations maintain weapons arsenals capable of destroying your own planet many times over. Back on the Council homeworld, Security Director Bin reviewed the reports with growing unease. The central chamber of the Security Division was alive with activity as analysts processed the stream of data from Earth. These humans have weapons designed specifically to kill other humans, Bin said to the Emergency Council session. The holographic displays showed Earth's military capabilities, modest by Council standards, but disturbing in their variety. Their entertainment glorifies violence. They cannot be allowed unrestricted access to our technology. An elder council member named Juan raised a hand. Perhaps we judge too quickly. Many species have violent pasts. Not like this, Bin countered. Most species experience conflict during early development, then outgrow it before reaching space. These humans are still actively engaged in territorial disputes, even as they look to the stars. Counselor June, who had supported the first contact mission, looked troubled. What do you recommend? Containment, Bin said firmly. Limited technology transfer. Monitoring stations. Restricted space travel. Essentially, a probationary status, June clarified. For their safety and ours, Bin agreed. The Council debated through the equivalent of an Earth night. Some argued for complete isolation of humanity until they proved themselves less violent. Others suggested more engagement might help humans develop more peaceful ways. A few extremists even proposed preemptive measures against a potential future threat. Finally, they voted. Earth would be offered limited membership with strict technology restrictions and monitored development. Ambassador Day received these instructions before the 3rd day of meetings began. On Earth, the UN Security Council had been in emergency session as well. General Kim presented evidence that the alien vessel had deployed small monitoring devices in orbit around Earth. They're watching us more closely than they admit, he said. Can we disable these devices? Asked the Russian representative. We could, Kim replied, but that would reveal capabilities we might want to keep hidden for now. President Han sighed. Let's see what they offer before we show our hand. When Ambassador Day delivered the Council's terms the next morning, the room temperature seemed to drop several degrees. She outlined the proposal. Earth would receive limited medical and agricultural technology. Humans would be permitted to establish a single colony on their moon, but no farther. Council monitoring stations would be established in the solar system. All human space development would require Council approval. These terms are non-negotiable, Da concluded. The Council believes this arrangement will allow humanity time to develop greater stability before fuller integration into galactic society. President Han's expression hardened. The diplomatic mask slipped for just a moment, revealing something that made Ambassador Dai step back slightly. So you offer us a cage, not partnership, Han said quietly. Ambassador Day tilted her head. We offer protection and guidance. Many young species would be grateful. President Han stood. I must consult with Earth's nations before responding. We will require 48 hours. As the human leaders filed out, Dr. Ho approached President Han. They fear us, she whispered. Yes, Han replied. And fear leads to poor decisions. In a secure room beneath the UN building, Earth's most powerful leaders gathered. The debate was heated. We should accept their terms for now, argued the British Prime Minister. Learn what we can while appearing compliant, and live under alien supervision forever. General Kim countered. Once we accept these terms, breaking them later would justify their worst suspicions. President Han listened to all sides before speaking. They underestimate us, she said finally. They see our conflicts but miss our cooperation. They see our weapons but miss our art. Most importantly, they miss our determination. She stood and faced the room. I believe we must decline their offer and propose true partnership or nothing. They could force compliance, someone pointed out. General Kim smiled slightly. Perhaps, but I suspect they'll find that more difficult than they imagine. As Earth prepared its response, Ambassador Day reported to the Council. The humans are resistant to our terms. There is growing concern among my team that they may be more dangerous than initially assessed. Councillor June frowned at the holographic projection. Proceed carefully, Ambassador. Remember, we seek to avoid conflict, not provoke it. What none of them knew was that Project SHIELD had already been activated worldwide. Humanity was preparing for all possibilities, including the worst. Earth's nations, for once united by a common cause, rejected the Council's terms. The vote had been unanimous in the emergency United Nations session, a historical first that wasn't lost on President Han as she prepared to address the world. Global broadcasts carried her speech to every corner of the planet. Citizens gathered in public squares, huddled around screens in homes, and paused in workplaces to listen to words that would define humanity's first official response to an alien civilization. People of Earth, President Han began, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. Today we face a choice that will shape our future among the stars. The Galactic Council has offered us membership, but on terms that would limit our growth, restrict our movement, and place us under their constant supervision. She paused, looking directly into the camera. We will not accept second-class status in the galaxy, President Han announced to her people. Humanity has survived worse challenges than alien disapproval. Throughout our history, we have faced disasters, diseases, and our own conflicts. Each time, we have emerged stronger, wiser, and more united. Across the globe, cheers erupted in public gatherings. Even those who had initially argued for accepting the Council's terms found themselves moved by the President's words. The Council sees only our capacity for violence, she continued. They fail to recognize our greater capacity for cooperation, innovation, and courage. Today, we stand together as one planet, one people, with one voice to say, we seek partnership, not patronage. After the broadcast, President Han met with the newly formed Earth Defense Council. Representatives from major nations sat around a circular table in a bunker 2 kilometers beneath the Rocky Mountains. The Council ships have moved to blocking positions around Mars, General Kim reported. They're establishing the containment perimeter they threatened. And our response? Asked the Russian delegate. President Han nodded to Director Su, who had remained silent until now. Director Su activated the central display. Operation Starforge is now fully operational, she said. For 3 years, we've been developing technology based on what we learned from the crashed alien device. After the Council's arrival, we accelerated our timeline. The display showed facilities hidden across Earth, in mountain ranges, beneath oceans, and in remote deserts. Then it zoomed out to show the solar system, highlighting activity in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Mining operations in the asteroid belt provided cover for the construction of humanity's first true warship, Su explained. The Council believes we're simply harvesting minerals for our growing lunar base. How have we kept this hidden from their monitoring? Asked the Chinese representative. General Kim smiled slightly. We feed their sensors exactly what they expect to see. Their technology is advanced, but predictable. They're looking for specific energy signatures and material. What the Council couldn't detect was happening deep within Asteroid Ceres, the largest object in the asteroid belt. Inside a massive hollow chamber, Chief Engineer Min moved through the controlled chaos of construction. Workers in specialized suits welded enormous panels, installed complex systems, and calibrated delicate instruments. The ship took form before their eyes, sleek despite its size, with lines that suggested both speed and power. It incorporated everything humanity had learned about spaceflight, enhanced by reverse-engineered technology from the crashed alien device. Min paused at a junction, checking the latest diagnostic results on her tablet. 3 years of her life had gone into this project. 3 years of 18-hour workdays, of solving impossible problems, of pushing the boundaries of human knowledge. Status report, came Director Su's voice through her communicator. Propulsion systems at 93%, Min replied. Weapons systems at 89%. Defense systems fully operational. Timeline. Min looked up at the massive ship. 2 more weeks. You have 1. Su replied. Council ships have expanded their perimeter. We're running out of time. Min closed her eyes briefly. Understood. For the next 7 days, work continued around the clock. Engineers and technicians pushed themselves to exhaustion and beyond. When systems failed initial testing, they were redesigned and rebuilt in hours rather than days. On the final night, Min stood before the completed ship. Its hull gleamed in the artificial lighting of the asteroid hangar. The name painted on its side caught the light. UNSS. Around him, the Council's Emergency Response Center hummed with activity. Analysts rushed between stations, comparing readings and running simulations. Confirmed, Director, said Senior Analyst Yu. The energy signature appears to be a ship, but its power output exceeds anything in our database for human capabilities. Bin's frown deepened. They've been hiding their true technology level from us. Or they've made a breakthrough, suggested Counselor Jun, who had arrived moments earlier. Either way, this changes our assessment. Bin turned to face her. It confirms our assessment. If they can hide this level of development, they are exactly the threat we feared. He pressed a series of commands into his console. Throughout the Council space, alerts sounded. The enforcement fleet, already on standby near the jump point to the human system, received their orders. Full containment protocol authorized, Bin announced. The human vessel must be neutralized, and Earth must be secured. Counselor Jun looked troubled. This is an escalation that might not be necessary. The Council voted. Bin reminded her coldly. My job is to implement that decision. The enforcement fleet comprised 12 vessels, each far larger than the human ship detected in the asteroid belt. Commander Du, a veteran of 3 containment operations, led from the flagship Righteous Order *. Jump when ready, he ordered. Formation Alpha upon arrival. The fleet vanished from Council space in flashes of blue light, tearing holes in the fabric of space-time to travel the vast distance instantly. They reappeared near Mars, expecting to catch the human vessel still in the asteroid belt. Instead, they found empty space. Scanning, reported the sensor officer. Human vessel not detected in expected position. Commander Du frowned. Expand search pattern. They can't have. Contact, shouted the officer. Directly ahead. On the main view screen, a ship appeared, seemingly out of nowhere. It was smaller than the Council vessels, but sleek and dangerous looking. Most alarming was its position. Directly in the path of the enforcement fleet, as if it had been waiting for them. Impossible, whispered Du. They couldn't have known we were coming. And they shouldn't have detection technology that could spot a jump point forming. The vessel is powering weapons, reported the tactical officer. Design unknown, but energy readings suggest significant capability. Du composed himself. This was still just a containment operation against a primitive species. One ship, no matter how advanced, could not stand against 12 Council warships. Open communications, he ordered. When the enforcement fleet arrived at Earth, they expected compliance. The humans had been isolated, their technology restricted. They should have been helpless before the Council's might. Instead, they found the Defiance waiting, a vessel that should have been impossible for humans to build. Fleet Commander Du opened communications. His image appeared on the main screen of the Defiance bridge. This is Commander Du of the Galactic Council Enforcement Fleet. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. The Council has deemed your species too dangerous for unrestricted space travel. On the bridge of the Defiance Captain Jin sat calmly in the command chair. Around her, the bridge crew maintained disciplined silence, though tension filled the air. This was the moment they had trained for, the confrontation that would determine humanity's future among the stars. Captain Jin of the Defiance smiled. This is Captain Jin of the United Nations, Spaceship Defiance *. We respectfully decline. Commander Du's expression hardened. You have one final chance to comply. The Council's decision is not negotiable. We seek negotiation, Jin replied. As equals, not subjects. Your Council made its decision without understanding humanity. We're here to correct that misunderstanding. By threatening our fleet, Du asked incredulously. Jin's smile remained in place. By demonstrating our capabilities, we could have attacked without warning. Instead, we've shown restraint. The communication ended abruptly as Commander Du cut the connection. On the bridge of the Righteous Order he turned to his tactical officer. Disable that vessel, he ordered. Minimum damage to ensure crew survival for interrogation. The Council fleet moved with practiced precision. They had contained rebellious species before, always using the same tactics. Overwhelming force applied in a standard formation designed to trap the target vessel in a crossfire. Beside him, Counselor Jun's expression was thoughtful rather than shocked. Perhaps, she said quietly, we've been asking the wrong questions about humanity all along. The Galactic Council chamber had never been so tense as when Captain Jin and President Han walked in, escorted by a stunned Ambassador Da. The massive circular room fell silent. Hundreds of representatives from across the galaxy stared at the humans who had dared to challenge Council authority and won. The UNSS Defiance had traveled directly to the Council homeworld after defeating the enforcement fleet. Its arrival threw the entire planet into panic. Defense systems activated automatically, but the human ship made no aggressive moves. Instead, it transmitted a simple message: we come to talk. Now, standing in the center of the Council chamber, President Han looked small but unafraid. Captain Jin stood beside her, still wearing her uniform with quiet pride. High Counselor One broke the silence. He was old even by his species standards, with pale blue skin that had faded with age. You violated our containment order. You disabled our fleet. You came to our homeworld uninvited. He paused, his large eyes studying the humans carefully. You could have destroyed our fleet. Why didn't you? The question hung in the air. Every council member leaned forward slightly, waiting for the answer. Because we want peace, President Han replied, her voice clear and strong despite the enormous chamber size. But peace between equals, not masters and servants. Murmurs spread through the chamber, some angry, some thoughtful. Captain Jin stepped forward. Humanity has fought itself for millennia. We've learned hard lessons about war and about reconciliation. She looked around at the assembled representatives. You saw our history and concluded we were dangerous. What you failed to see was that we've also learned how to end conflicts, how to rebuild, how to forge bonds between former enemies. High Counselor One frowned. You built a warship in secret while under observation. That hardly speaks of peaceful intentions. We built a ship with defensive capabilities, Jin corrected. And yes, we did it in secret because you left us no choice. You decided our fate without truly knowing us. President Han raised her hand, a small data device in her palm. "We bring a proposal. Not demands, but an offer of true partnership." Security Director Bin, standing to one side of the chamber, stepped forward. "This is unprecedented. They should be contained, not negotiated with." "Yet here they stand," said Councillor June, rising from her seat. "Having bypassed our containment with technology we didn't believe they possessed. Perhaps we should listen before deciding their fate again." For 3 days, the negotiations continued. The council chamber became a forum for intense debate. The human delegation, expanded now to include experts in various fields, presented their case patiently and thoroughly. They shared their full history, not just the wars that had concerned the council, but the peace treaties, the humanitarian efforts, the gradual unification that had brought former enemies together. Several species, impressed by human restraint in battle and thoughtfulness in negotiation, began advocating for full membership. Others remained skeptical, pointing to humanity's rapid technological development as a continuing concern. On the 3rd day, Councillor Sun, whose species had once been warlike themselves before finding peace, addressed the chamber. "Perhaps," he suggested, his voice resonant in the large space, "what we feared most about humans is actually what we need most. Their history of conflict has prepared them to face threats the Council has never encountered." A hush fell over the assembly. Sun continued, "For 10,000 cycles, the Council has maintained peace among its members. This is our greatest achievement, but peace can lead to complacency. When was the last time we faced a true challenge? When was the last time we had to adapt quickly to a new threat?" He turned to face the human delegation. "These humans built a ship that could defeat 12 of our vessels without destroying them. They did this while under what we thought was effective observation. They showed both ingenuity and restraint. Are these not qualities we should welcome rather than fear?" The debate went long into the night. President Han and Captain Jin remained standing throughout, refusing seats as a matter of principle. They would stand as equals or not at all. Finally, High Counselor One called for a vote. The chamber's lighting dimmed as each representative registered their decision privately. When the lights returned to normal, One looked shocked at the results on his display. "By majority decision," he announced, his voice slightly unsteady, "the Council grants Earth full membership status, with all rights and responsibilities that entails." He looked directly at President Han. "Your people have much to learn about galactic society, but it seems we also have much to learn from you." In the weeks that followed, the foundations of a true alliance formed. The Council provided access to advanced technologies that would help Earth develop more sustainably. In return, humans shared their unique perspective on problem-solving and adaptation. The Defiance Asterisk, once a symbol of human rebellion, became the model for a new class of vessels. Its innovative defensive systems were studied by Council engineers who had never considered such approaches. 6 months after the historic meeting, a joint Human Council research team made a breakthrough in propulsion technology by combining Council theoretical knowledge with human practical engineering. 1 year later, the UNSS Defiance led a mixed fleet of human and Council vessels on patrol near the outer boundaries of Council space. The area had been peaceful for generations, but recent long-range scans had detected unusual energy signatures. Captain Jin stood on the bridge, watching the stars through the main view screen. The ship had been upgraded with the latest joint-developed technology, but still retained the character that had made it special. Her crew now included several Council species working alongside humans, each bringing unique skills to their posts. "Captain," called Communications Officer Hyun, breaking the peaceful silence. "Incoming transmission from New Colony Epsilon." Jin straightened in her chair. Epsilon was the first joint Human Council colony, established on a previously uninhabited world near the border of explored space. "Put it through," Jin ordered. The screen changed to show the colony's operations center. The commander looked worried, her voice tight with controlled fear. "Distress call, Captain. Unknown hostile ships approaching." They're not responding to hails, and they don't match any council registry. Jin nodded to her crew, seeing determination in both human and alien faces. Send word to the council. We'll investigate immediately. She activated the ship-wide communication system. All hands to battle stations. Prepare for jump. As the Defiance and its fleet prepared to respond, Jin shared a look with her first officer, a council member who had once served under Commander Du. Looks like the galaxy needs defenders after all, she said quietly. The first officer nodded. And it seems the council chose better than it knew when it finally accepted humanity. The Defiance jumped into faster-than-light travel, heading toward an unknown threat, and the next chapter in the alliance between humanity and the stars. The end.